So I am not one to pick up a single side table, but when I saw this literally in a council pickup pile, there was no chance I was leaving it. This has so much character. It's got gorgeous pattern to it. It's got really subtle detail that is little class. A little cute little knob. Side, it's just a simple two-shelf situation in structurally quite a bad way. But I'm hoping with some wood glue, wood filler, and a lot of patience, I can hopefully bring this back to life, see what we can do. I think my first plan of attack on this piece is to do the structural work. So go in with some wood glue and clamp some parts that I feel like can be, do some wood filler on the light crack. So we'll see how we go, but I think we do that first. So my first plan of attack was to fill and fix this big crack that was right in the corner. It was massive, it was big and it was deep, so I put some wood glue in there and clamped it shut so it had the best chance of closing that gap as much as possible. This piece had a lot of minor dents, gaps, cracks in it, so I just used wood filler just to fill those in so it had a smoother surface. So it's now time to go in and do the sanding. So first I'm going in with my orbital sander to do all of the main pieces, so the top, the side. I'm going in with a light sandpaper. So this is only a 240 grit sandpaper because I don't want to take away the texture. I'm trying to keep it as original as I possibly can because I just don't want to ruin it. So if we go in with a really heavy grit sandpaper, it's just going to take away too much of that finish and it's going to make it too smooth. Once that's done, I'm going in also with a light sanding block just to do all of this detail sanding, mainly to get off all of the wood filler. Once we've got those main areas sanded back, we will then go in and work on the detailed part. But for now, let's do the main sanding and we'll get back to that. So this door carving was beautiful and I knew that if I went over it with sandpaper, it was going to ruin it or dull some of the detail. So the best way to do this is with acetone. It just kills any dirt and grime and gets it off cleanly. Something that I think is pretty cool and something that you don't see in a lot of furniture, but now that this has all been prepped and cleaned, black line that runs all the way down through the front, you can see it here, it's quite prominent, but it goes all the way through the door to the other side. Now this is something that is called a mineral vein, basically a sign of aging. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong with the wood, doesn't mean that anything is wrong with a piece of furniture. It purely just tells us how old this piece of furniture really is, and it actually gives it some really good character. There is no possible way to get this out. Sanding, acetone, it just is part of the piece of furniture now, and we're going to embrace that. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was pretty cool. So I didn't want to go in with a stain, I didn't want to go in with a full paint, so we're going to do a paint wash on this. We're going to do a white paint wash, which I think is going to just enhance the natural wood and the character of this piece of furniture. So I reckon we just jump in and do that. So I wanted a light paint wash for this one, so I went in with 1 part paint and 3 parts water. I then brushed on a thick layer, let it sit for 10 to 15 seconds and then wiped off with the grain. Before I went in and did the paint wash on the door, I actually diluted the paint wash further by adding another part water. I wanted to emphasize the carving and not hide it. So lightening that paint wash just ensures that we weren't hiding it and we were just bringing that carving out more. All right, the paint wash is done and it looks really great. I'm not gonna lie, my first few sections I was like, what have I done? But now that it's all complete, and I think it looks great. It has really just elevated the overall style, and I love that the front, like the door in the detail, is slightly deeper. It just makes the whole thing look a little bit more interesting, and it has more variety in the tone instead of it just being the one shade of white, if that makes sense. So I love that this is darker. You can still see the mineral vein, which is great. I'm glad that that's still there. Again, it just adds that character. So overall, I'm really happy with the paint wash, and I think it was a good idea. So we're ready for the last step, which is to seal it. I'm going in with the Caberphane Clear High Durability top coating. As though this is a high piece furniture, you want a top coat that can handle that. This is going to go over the entirety of the unit. I actually haven't done anything with the inside because I wanted to keep it fully original and as vintage as possible, but all we're going to do in here is also add this just to finish it off. So let's get this on and then we'll be done. We'll be ready for the reveal. We are done. This was such a simple flip, but I feel like it's made a huge difference. I have kept as much of the charm as I possibly could. This beautiful detailing on the door is still perfect. I am so incredibly happy with this. If you have any questions, leave them below. Other than that, stay tuned for the next flip.